What's going on? It's Justeeni here. And today, this is part 3, the final part of my tournament run, the absolute miracle run through the Imperius Polytopia Championship, where I am in the grand finals. I've played 8 games so far and won 8 games. A flawless record against top players. And I don't even, I'm not gonna lie, I was in complete disbelief. This grand finals, this was actually on the second day because the tournament took so long that the grand finals had to be rescheduled, but I was still in disbelief of the fact that I went 8-0 even a day after the fact. I'm still in disbelief, I'm not gonna lie. I went 8-0, but now I'm against Reaper again. And I might not get as lucky with my ruins this time. Instead of cheating death, he's finally caught up to me, and things are gonna get pretty crazy. If you thought the other tournament games leading up to this point were crazy, you have seen nothing yet. Let's just get right into this one. So again, typical opening. I explore here because I expect there's a village, as mentioned in both parts 1 and 2. These empty resource tiles, these plain tiles, are guaranteed 0 villages. Nada. Nothing here. Not worth exploring, at least not in the opening. Obviously, there's going to be villages behind that point, but I want to get villages fast. So exploring what the resources are is a good strategy, but luck is not on my side this time. But I do find that village, and I get riding, and I step on here. It's a nice village, 2 fruit. I get another rider, and I see him capture this city already, and that's not good. So I explore here, try to get out of the way, and he knows where I am. He knows. And he sieges. He just took my second city. This is turn 4, and he's already sieging it. It is already unbreakable. But at least I get some meeting stars. I go for climbing here because I need to explore ASAP. And I also get an explorer here. Just so then now, Reaper can't get an explorer here himself. And also he can't get a workshop either. And I benefit off the explorer. And I see that he actually has a level 1 city. He had to get a road to go for this play. So while I did lose a city, and while things are looking really bad, I haven't lost hope yet. Again, this is a terrible situation, but his eco is going to be a little bit behind, and maybe I can take advantage of that somehow. But I am also starting to think about game 2 at this point. I do see a village there at least, and there could be another one here. In fact, it's very likely. So, maybe if his density's bad here or something, then maybe I actually have something going. So, I start to develop my eco more, of course. I gotta play really greedy here to get anything going, and he starts pressuring my capital. That's not good. That is not good for me at all, because now I have to survive this. How do I survive this? I don't know. Well, I grab mining. That's a start. And yeah, I don't upgrade anything, because really the point of mining is just, buy it before I capture. I can't level up the city anyway, and I want to funnel for an explorer next turn, because I know that is my ticket to surviving this. He also gets this. What am I supposed to do about this? I mean, I was planning on giving this to him anyway, but this is just overkill, man. I also did this level 1 city here, though. But I'm just hoping, with this explorer, that maybe, just maybe, he doesn't have really good density. And maybe I can fight a 4 on 5, maybe 6. That's not a 4 on 6. That is a 4 on 7. I have 4 cities. My capital is stranded. His capital is perfectly next to 2 cities that are as close to my capital as my closest city is to mine. But at least I can defend through the miraculous plays. I actually don't capture this village because I need to get the monument. the Eye of God monument, because I actually have all the lighthouses. But the thing is, I know he's going to get them all too. He may not have this one yet, but he's about to get this Juicy Explorer, probably get this one. Maybe even uses this city, gets to explore here, and then funnels it for that. He is getting the Eye of God too, but at least I get it first, and I can get the giant. And I can even get a second giant on my capital. This is still a really bad situation, even with the 2 giants, because he just has too many cities. And he's actually starting to develop his eco. But then I get the Smithery Ruins, which, well, what can I do with it? I can't actually get another giant. This city, I got a good forge spot, but that's only 1 level. And this one's blocked. And then this only helps me get a level 3. There is this spot though, if I get a border growth, but I can't get it off of here because I have to place a forge to border growth. So only if I place a monument and a fruit, which the only monument I can really get at this point is Gate of Power, which, fun fact, I don't have a single kill this game. So as good as Smithery looks, it doesn't actually do much here. So I get the giant though, and I push it so then I can start to pressure, because my plan here is I'm going to pressure one of these cities, he's going to defend, and I'm just going to pressure the other city, and he might not be able to defend. I'm just hoping. So the question is, which one do I pressure first? And I'm thinking, well, this one's going to be easier to defend, and this one also benefits me more if I take it. So I probably want to go for this one first, actually, because it's going to be easier to catch him off guard right now than hope that I can get the other city next time. But either way, I'm kind of just hoping and praying at this point because, while his economy is not doing great, that is about to change real fast. He is about to get a lot of monuments. There's his Grand Bazaar. He's also pressuring me with the sword, but I can actually defend this just fine. I think this was a mistake on his part. Because yes, he does, like, kill a unit, but... Oh, but he gets the Eye of God, just as I said. Look at that. And now he's up in monuments. And suddenly his eco is doing pretty well, actually. But I pressure this anyway, because he did place his Grand Bazaar already. He didn't place his Park of Fortune, though. Which means he might have a sneaky little plan. And, you know, I train some units. I even get the forge here just to develop my economy. I plan to get forestry anyway to chop this spot. And, you know, I might as well get the eco right now. And he gets farming to level this up. And develop his other cities. Yeah. Gets another giant, and he doesn't bother defending this. He doesn't even send his giant next to here, which leads me to believe, well, he's probably got the push. But I might as well siege, and here's why I might as well siege, is because, well, he hasn't placed his Park of Fortune. He's probably just going to use that, but I'll get the Park of Fortune out, so then if I get pressure on some other city, he might not be able to siege, because he might be out of monuments. So if I can just force something out right now, I won't have to deal with it later. So I go and siege. I know that he can't Justeeni either, so it's another reason why it's good to do right now. And I get a giant here, so I can start to pressure this area. And I even have these swords to pressure as well. I might be able to give him some problems. This giant's also running in here. I can start to pressure the middle of the map. This giant here is kind of more of a distraction than anything. Again, he's gonna unsiege. He's gonna kill the sword first. Okay, that's fine. He's gonna get a giant here. No monument use, of course, because he's gonna save it for the unsiege. Wait. He didn't unsiege. But he blocked my resources. So then when I do take this city, I can't pop a giant right away. Which is super annoying here, I'm not gonna lie. Absolutely cheeky. And my route of attack isn't all that clear, but I'm playing a 5-on-6 now, and my eco's doing pretty well. Maybe I have something here? Like, I've got some good techs. Maybe I survive this? but it's not looking the best. I mean, he's got a weak spot here, so it's not over. But whoa. Hold on. He just roaded right next to my capital. I've got a problem. He's got some units here. Whoa. This is a problem. This is a problem right here. I get a border growth here for a few reasons. First off, it's cutting off his road. Second off, I get more giants. Third off, I can chop some forests. And yeah, that's really all the reasons. But I'm actually able to prevent my capital from being sieged this turn. Miraculously enough, because the sword obviously can't be killed by the giant, and he can't send any units to support. Which means I'm spared for a turn, and I've got enough time to think of a plan. So this fort is currently blocked, but if he moves his giant away, I get 4 population there, and then I need 3 more. Well, there's one thing in this game that happens to be worth 3 population, and I'm really close to getting it. So I can unsiege, thank goodness, and I might have a little bit of a play myself. That's his capital right there. I also have these giants pressuring here, forcing his giants on defense. He takes this, and then ignores his defensive duties, because this is might. You just need to take the capital to win. These cities do not matter. This matters. And at least he unblocks the fort spot. And I siege this, and the reason why I even care about sieging this at this point is because if I do capture this, on the off chance that I do, I can get roads. And if I connect all my cities, it's a lot of population for my cap, plus the Grand Bazaar. So if all goes wrong, which I'm expecting all to go wrong, I do at least have another out, and maybe just maybe I can do something here. Because I have 3 giants headed straight for his capital. One of them can siege this turn. And he has to deal with that. I also start to weaken his giant, and I place this right now so he can't block it. And I also get another giant, so then he can't like take this away from me, because that'd be really annoying. And I make another sword to force him to use a unit to siege and sacrifice. He also sieges this, which is really annoying for me. I should have chopped and trained a warrior to prevent that, but yeah, I wasn't too focused on that. And then he just unsieges here. What a jerk. I can't even get my Grand Bazaar. And then he just chops everything. And then I just go for the siege. But before then, of course, I looked at his score, you know, to see how close he was done sieging. 375. Now, that means he has 5 population in addition to his 370. So I'm like, okay, so he just needs 1 more population right here to unsiege. Now, wise viewers might realize that I am a complete idiot. He does not need 1 population to unsiege. He needs 2. This is a level 6 city. Now, unbeknownst to me, there's a problem for Reaper. Where's that second population? Now, I didn't realize that was an issue because I thought he only needed 1. So I unsiege, thinking, oh, okay, I've lost the game. I'm just gonna make things a little tricky for him. He's gotta earn the win, you know. And then once he unsieges, and he sieges my capital, I'll resign, and we'll go to game 2. So he sieges my capital. You know, I did make it tricky for him, at least. And I'm waiting for the unsiege. And at this point, after he sacrifices his units, he has like 10 seconds left. I'm like, is he just waiting? Reaper wouldn't disrespect like that. But then he resigns. And again, it's because he doesn't have it. He needs 2 population. but I didn't realize that at the time, so I was so confused. I'm like, wait, how did I win? But I mean, I thought I lost. I was already like, okay, I lost game 2, and then I won. You know, 9-0 by the way, 9-0. So now grand finals. It's also best of 3. I believe if I lose this set, it's a bracket reset because I'm coming from winner's side. But either way, I just need 1 more win. And Reaper needs 2 for a bracket reset. And then 2 more wins from that point. But on to game 2. Alright. Game 2. I'm 9-0. Surely at this point, my plot armor finally wears off. It was really close to fading in game 1, but we're no longer hosting, and our spawn looks not too great either. I really only have one direction to explore, so of course naturally that's what I'm gonna do. I'm just gonna explore here. I do find a village though, and I go and get an early riding. I don't actually remember why I picked this opening, but I did. And then I find him. Wait. That's his first warrior. That means he doesn't have his second city yet. So I'm just gonna take this. I'm gonna get the explorer. I'm gonna see what's up. He has a rider. But he can't take the city away from me. Wait. And there's a ruins! Oh, but there's a ruins! And he's gonna take that. And I have to give it to him. I give him the ruins because I don't want to lose my city. And then I do this. I could have trained a rider and a warrior. That's a normal play. But I do this for a very specific reason. And I know what you guys might be thinking. This rider's in the way. If he trains a warrior here, I cannot siege. And you would be correct. But there is a very, very important element in Polytopia that I am taking advantage of here. Okay. Hopefully I cut out the really loud audio, and hopefully it's fine now. But, okay, so, yeah, where was I? Incomplete information? Yeah, so, I know that I don't have the resources to siege if he trains a warrior, but I also know that Reaper doesn't know something very important, because from his point of view, I'm not actually going to show it to you, but you should be able to make an educated guess from this position that Reaper doesn't have vision on my capital, but he knows where it is. And he knows if I have a rider on my capital, you know, hypothetically, I have a rider here, I can move it and take this out. And this is out of the way. If he just makes a warrior, I siege. If he doesn't make a warrior, I also siege. There is only one way out of this situation. And that's to get a pop ruins. But again, from Reaper's point of view, he has to do one thing here to save the game. And get a city wall. Because from his point of view, that was the only option. He had to. He had no choice. But, again, that's why I trained that rider there instead of a warrior and a rider there. It's because of that. And that one play turns this game from I'm probably favored, but he did just get a pop ruins, and maybe it's a little sketchy because he's also got another warrior in the fog exploring, to suddenly, well, that pop ruins means almost nothing to him because now he's way behind in eco and expansion, and suddenly this game is looking amazing for me. All from that one rider. I also send this rider back here in case, like, I can somehow be sneaky, but I kind of forgot. He knows that this rider's here. It is also a 2 out of 3 kills, but, like, he's not he's not stupid. He's not gonna let me get a bounce on the ruins. Like, I don't know what I was thinking there, but you know, I just move it right back, you know, because that's that. He kills this rider, which that's annoying, but it allows me to get some bounce around. I get hunting to develop, of course. I don't think roads actually makes a whole lot of sense here, so I just develop. He gets swords, by the way. I didn't even like point this out, but yeah, he got, I think, a smithery ruins or something, and he just is making swords now. But I do know something pretty important here. He most likely does not have a mine here, because he would probably be using that to try and get a giant ASAP. He would not be spamming swords. He would be saving up for forestry to like chop 3 of his forests and then get the giant. So I actually know, because of the sword spam, like putting the pieces of the puzzle together, he does not have a mine here. Which means if I siege his cap, he probably can't unsiege if I block well. But also just his resources aren't actually that good. And he has this level 1 city too. And I get that lighthouse. I was not expecting that. I was expecting to get this lighthouse. That was my plan. But things don't always go to plan. I can't actually stop him from getting the city though, which is a little unfortunate. Which is why instead I opt for doing this. And once again, this is just a complete bluff. The idea is to, obviously, like, if he kills a rider, he's not going to do that. Like, he's not stupid. But if he does, and he is stupid, then his rider's not able to get this village at all. It's completely trapped. But my thought process is also, if he tries to go for this village, I might buy roads. Place 2 roads, steal this from him. I have this rider here. I could do it. Except obviously I can't. I don't have the stars for that, but he doesn't know that. So I'm going to put this rider here and look scary. And he moves back. He doesn't even go for this village. Now, he might not even know about this one, but he does know about this one. And he didn't go for it, despite the fact that I didn't have any way to actually deal with him going there. I didn't even have a way of dealing like if he trained a rider here. But he didn't know that. But I made it look like I could. And yeah, now I find this village, and I go for this lighthouse because, well, I only need 1 more, because I already got this one too. And suddenly, wait, giant potential? Well, I'm 4 pop off, but make that 3 if I get that lighthouse, and then guess what you get for getting that 4th lighthouse, a monument. Yep, I'm gonna get a giant next turn. I'm not gonna sugarcoat it. Also, vet assigning for the win. I sacrificed a rider in a weird way. I actually have a second 2 out of 3. Oh, sorry, 3 out of 3 actually. Yeah, the vet assigning goes crazy. Yeah, this was something. Stealing the city was definitely decisive, but forcing the city wall really sealed the deal. And yeah, I get the giant. I placed a Park of Fortune here because I have exactly enough population with forestry to get another giant. I buy forestry, and I do this for some stupid reason. I knew I was already winning, so like I'm allowed to misplay now. I know that I'm allowed to misplay, so I decide to misplay intentionally, of course. No, I just didn't think. But yeah, I actually can't get the giant this turn. That's why this is a misplay, by the way. But I win anyway because, let's be honest, like, yeah, he is screwed. He's completely screwed. But that concludes the Empress Coliseum Championship, where I placed first, of course. I played 10 total games, won 10 games, and lost 0. Quite possibly one of the most insane win streaks I've ever had. This is actually riding off of a win streak of 8 games, so I am actually currently, as of recording this, 18-0, which I know is going to end very soon, and once it does, I will never have a win streak again like this in my entire life. It's just not happening. This is a once-in-a-lifetime tournament. So don't get your hopes up for the next one, Jinchi month, because this is probably not happening again. But, you know, at least we can savor the moment here, maybe. But hope you guys enjoyed this one. I really enjoyed playing in this tournament. Again, shout out to all the players who are definitely better at the game than me, but I just got lucky. I apologize to anyone who I may have screwed over by getting lucky. But again, Hope you guys enjoyed. Like and sub, and have a good one.